Mike McCool here. We're in the Royal Examiner Studios today with Stephen Jerome. Stephen is a candidate for the Republican nomination for Clerk of the Circuit Court, isn't it?
Correct.
Clerk of the Circuit Court in Warren County. And we're going to talk to him today about the office, his qualifications, his desire to seek the office, which is always an important thing, to have a desire to do it.
Yes.
Stephen, what turned you on to seeking this office?
Well, when I found out it was available, it's an opportunity at this point in my life, I'm 51, to try a different career path that I think I can really excel at. And I have skill sets as an attorney, I think, that are transferable directly to this particular office.
It's one way to get into the courtroom, isn't it?
Yeah, an easier way a lot of times. So with that skill set and my desire to do a really fantastic job, I think everything that Darrell Funk has done as clerk, that Jennifer Sims has done as a clerk, their achievements, I can build upon those with those skill sets and with my desire to do a really fantastic job, and hopefully take it even further for the public, because I'm going to be hired by the public to do a public service job. And anyone that walks through that door, I want to treat them with integrity, fairly, equally, and professionally, so they get the best services they can get out of the clerk's office.
Right, the clerk's job is really one of those positions that so few people know anything about, and yet we're probably affected by the work that goes on there every day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, in my research on the position, the executive secretary for the Supreme Court has put out a list of the clerk's duties, and it's only 113 pages long.
Oh, it's only 130.
Yeah.
That sounds like a government specification, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think what that shows is there's definitely a reason it's an 8-year term.
Exactly.
Over other offices, because just to get your feet wet and your arms around the position, you need to have a certain amount of time at the job. Anybody. Whether you're already there or whether you're new to the job.
And I'm sure it evolves too. Things change, laws change, rulings change every year sometimes. What we did last year, now we're doing something different this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's some ongoing training that probably has to be done as well.
Oh yeah. Just like all the judges have ongoing training, everyone does, because of the changes in the statutes and the
laws change and stuff.
And the tax code and how that affects the collection of the fees and things for deeds and land records.
Right. Well, it is a job where our record keeping is done. And, we talk about, a lot of times, most of us have, if you purchased a house, we've gone through, a title search.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I always think about the clerk in the courthouse is, well, what do I use them for, and then,
yeah.
But they do, and then they have to dig through records back lots of years to verify correct
Yeah, the
titles.
title examiners go back quite far to make sure that, for the underwriters for the title insurance, that the title is sufficient, or they'll find exceptions, and they won't cover those, obviously. But I think the greatest volume of documentation that flows through the courthouse or the clerk's office are the land records, somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 annually, just for deeds of trust, any kind of land records, certificates of satisfaction, special powers of attorney, things like that. So,
well, and now the information is coming through on every kind of information, just so much faster, and more volumes of information and data that, we're trying to convert things to digital, and that probably creates a whole other set of worms. So.
Yeah, I think there is a challenge there to keep up with the paper flow, especially when the housing market takes off. For a while, a few years back, before 2008,
sure,
the volume of land records was astronomical, and every day there'd be a stack like this that the clerks would try to get through and put into the system, digitize, and then it needs to go off to Richmond too. So the amount of work that happens in the clerk's office is really, most people have no conception of. It's a full-time, busy, hard job that you're working with the sheriff's office, the other clerks, the other courts, prosecutor's office. You work with the state treasury. You work with vital statistics. You work with the commissioner of revenue. Just to name some of the ones that come to mind.
And that's where we get our concealed weapons permit too.
It is. And
that seems to be a big thing nowadays. They've done
no,
more.
it is. That's That's up there probably in the top 5 volumes in Warren County, at least.
Sure.
I can't speak to the other counties in Virginia.
Right.
But if you look at the Warren County budget, or the estimated budget for 2018, they break down the volume of records that go through the circuit court clerk's office, and that was around about 900 and some.
Wow. It's a lot of stuff that goes through the court. And like I say, it's something we use every day, but are just not really aware of it. And, once a person gets in those positions, they seem to stay a long time. I think people look at it to run, and they say, I don't know if I really want to do this or not.
Yeah, well, that's always a question you ask yourself. But that's why I think it's an 8-year term. It's trying to build in the institutional knowledge and the continuity of the office.
It was a little strange this time with Mr. Funk. He was an attorney, got elected to that office, and then to move into a judgeship. That's pretty rare for people to move from the clerk on through to something else. They're normally there for life. It seems like. Yeah,
I'm certainly not aware of that happening anywhere else in Virginia, at least.
You don't have any ambitions to be a judge, or?
I do not. I like I said, I'm 51 years old. I kind of know myself now. And this job appeals to me because I'm anal retentive. I'm kind of a geek. I like to keep things organized. I like to stay on top of the things.
Tech savvy?
Yeah, well, detail orientated.
That's important.
And I like people. I like working with people. So I think it's a good transition for me at this point in my life. And I live here in town.
Sure.
So I don't have to switch up for a commute to D.C. or anything like that if it works out for me. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, just so people get to know you a little better. You're not born and raised here in Warren County.
No, I'm not. I'm originally from outside of Buffalo, New York.
Should we say that really soft there, New York?
It's Miami to the north, by the way. And I'm not a Bills fan anymore. Some people will not vote for me now.
That's right, exactly.
But I migrated down this way starting in 1992, I believe. Lived with my brother. He was in Alexandria for a while. And then I got accepted to Regent University Law School in 94. And I've been in Virginia ever since. Never looked back.
So we call you a local now, right? And you married someone from near here? Or
No.
You got to bring them with you.
My wife is also from New York, but she's from the opposite side of the state, outside of Albany.
All right, that's in the sane part of New York, isn't it? Not from the city side.
Well, I guess that depends on who you speak with. But it's, she's near the capital of New York.
That's good. And tell us a little about your family. I know you have a good-sized family. And
I do.
And they're all good. They're all good kids. And
I think.
What's the age they range?
So from 22 to 8.
Well,
So I have 7 kids.
So you have to keep working for a long time. You got a lot of colleges to put through.
Between college tuition, weddings, and everything else.
You got a lot of girls.
3 girls. I have a feeling that I will be retiring in the saddle, or however the expression goes.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll push your kids through the community college system to save you a few
dollars.
No,
that's a fantastic system, I think, for anybody and everybody.
It is.
And you can do a couple of years at the community college. You do well enough, you go right to the 4-year institution, you get that degree.
Yeah,
and
saves you a lot of money, and I tell that to people too, to go in. You get that almost guaranteed into a state school anyway. You can get that guaranteed admission. Don't have to worry about them SAT scores, and you can kind of move right onto the flow as be a junior. And
sure,
it makes a big difference.
Sure, and it's a transition for kids. So even if they have a little bit of trouble, instead of having it at a higher cost at a 4-year institution, they can strengthen their areas of weakness and still end up in the 4-year institution. So I think it's all the way around. It's just a great deal for everybody. Parents, kids, even the professors and the faculty, it spreads the wealth.
common sense what it sounds like to me. Well, now we're having this special election. Actually, it's not a special election. We call it a firehouse election, I guess, or something.
Well, it's a canvas.
It's a canvas, and it's at the Warren Community Center on Thursday. That's this Thursday at 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And any registered voter in Warren County can vote on this, I believe.
That's my understanding.
That's the way I understand it. So 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, if you're a registered voter, and really the only thing it's for is for the Republican nomination for the candidate. There's 3 people running, yourself, Christy Atwood, and Janice Shanks.
Yes.
And so just those 3 people will be then selected to run against the other candidates. And I think the independent candidate is Angie Moore, and I think that would be it. So hopefully there'll be a 2-way race at the end of this.
Sure. So Thursday, the Republican Party canvass is designed to determine who's going to be the nominee for the Republican Party
Exactly.
this coming November 5th.
Right.
With the
So-
regular general election. But the canvass is being called, and it's happening now because it is a special election.
It is a special election.
For the clerk's office, since Darrell was elevated to become a judge.
Right. So this term will only be for 4 years.
Yes.
And then just to fill the remaining time in Darrell's in his term. So it's Thursday afternoon from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. If you're a registered voter in Warren County, please show up at the Warren County Community Center, which is the people who have been here a while. That's the old library on Villa and Kendrick Lane, so you can't miss it. It's a great little community center. But 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Thursday afternoon.
Correct. And if people want to know more about my background,
Sure.
and a little bit more about the clerk's office, they can visit my website at jeromeforclerk.com, and it goes into more detail about who I am, what my qualifications for the office would be, as well as some of the duties of the clerk's office. Not every single one exhaustively, like a 113-page
Sure.
document, but
Sure.
enough to give people a feel for just how much work this
It's
job requires.
an important role to have the right person in there, and don't put it off because you think, oh, it's just a clerk. No one, it's not the sheriff or somebody that it's highly controversial right now. But it is an important job, and you don't have to. You don't have to be a Republican to vote in this.
No,
It's just a
not that I'm aware
registered
of.
voter. They may ask you, and you just, oh yeah, I'm a Republican, so just go ahead and vote. But anyway, it is an important election coming up. There's several other special elections, tied in with our general election, but we do have quite a few. And of course, the Royal Examiner will be bringing you some more interviews and discussions with the candidates going forth after this canvass on Thursday. So we'll have the sheriff and the clerk of the court. We have a couple of seats on the board of supervisors and the mayor front royal. So there's quite a few things going on, all which are important. And again, for people that are registered voters now, please show up on Thursday afternoon at the community center and vote for the clerk of the court for the nomination for the Republican nominee. Also, if you're not registered to vote, there's still time to get registered for the November election. It's important. Do your part, whether you support Jerome or one of the other people. I think you even said you want people to participate in our government. I mean, it's something we all need to do. Get registered. If you're going to be out of town, we do have early voting. And we also have absentee voting, so no excuse not to vote in this November election. So that's one of your great duties and freedoms you have in this country.
And especially with everything that's happened in our community, one way people can be involved and to try to make it that change that they want to see is to get registered and get out to vote. Whoever they vote for, whatever party,
Right.
no matter what, participate.
It is. It's important to do that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of complainers. I want to see the complaining stop and take action. And the easiest way to take action is in the voter booth, the voter's booth, or the voter's ballot, or whatever.
Sure.
And it is.
And it's overlooked a lot.
And it is overlooked. And when you look at the numbers, so few people vote, and it's really a shame that. And it's not just in Warren County; it's nationwide. So a few people are electing people that are going to affect your life for the next 4, 8, 10, 20 years.
Sure.
And so if you have a complaint, the easiest way is to vote and participate in the election process. It's great. Well,
Or
Steve,
they can come into the office and tell me directly. If I'm
That's
your
right.
clerk, come in,
That's
see me,
right.
complain.
complain, and it is. The clerk's office is there to help us to do it, and it's amazing. A lot of things go through the clerk's office that we just don't really think about. And I think the whole thing is about customer service and who you work for.
Sure.
And I think that's the thing in any of these public offices, and that's what's really aggravating a lot of people right now is they feel that their government forgot who they work for. So I think sounds like that you want to give the best service you can.
I do.
Well, again, thanks again, Stephen, for
Thank
talking
you.
with us. Good luck on Thursday, and we'll be there at 8 o'clock on Thursday night
All right.
to record the tallies of the vote, and of course bringing it to our Royal Examiners viewers on Thursday night, Friday morning. Okay. Again, good luck.
Thank you.